lineup, and that would be Aldenham School. And representing Aldenham School, we have Liz Beach, Foundation Marketing and Admissions Manager. Good morning, Liz.
Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you all.
How are you doing?
Very well. It's our first time doing this Brains and Bus affair. It's been really interesting. Thank you for including us. It's been great.
We're happy to have you.
Fantastic. Mr. Dunstan is my colleague with me, and he's going to be doing the presentation, and I hope you all find it very interesting.
Hello, everybody. It's very good to be here. I'd like to thank Brains and Butter for putting on such an amazing event. It's lovely to be amongst so many colleagues from other schools as well. I don't envy the parents having to choose. I think it's fair to say that around 80 to 90% of what all independent boarding schools offer will be the same. I have to say that openly and honestly. We all offer the same, and we all value and care for children. So your job really, despite the fact that you'll hear multiple things the same over and over again, is to find that last 5 to 10% that captures you, that you're looking for. And obviously we hope that we can help you do that with our presentations, and obviously Brains and Butter will help you as well. So I'm the commercial director here. Liz is the marketing and business manager. Between us, we have been at Aldenham for 45 years. Okay, so I've done 25 years, Liz has done. I've been a boarding housemaster here and a teacher before moving into the role that I currently have now. So we know the school inside and out. We're very passionate about Aldenham and what Aldenham has to offer. We like it so much that we've been here that long. So hopefully that will give you some confidence in terms of what we're saying and the value of the school. So I'm going to share my presentation with you, and we'll talk through that, and then obviously I'll be more than happy to take some questions. So hopefully you can tell me when you can see the presentation.
Now we can.
You can. And are you seeing my PowerPoint, or are you seeing something else?
We're seeing your PowerPoint.
You are? Okay, great. Let me just make sure I can project that for you then. Perfect, perfect. Well, as I said, we are at Aldenham School here in the UK, and like you've heard from other schools, we are in beautiful, leafy Hertfordshire, which is just outside of North London. So we also have only a 20-minute hop into central London, but we are in 115 acres of green Hertfordshire space. So the children get the best of both worlds in terms of feeling safe and secure and in the countryside, but also having close access to London and all that London has to offer. We're also very close to Watford, so we have the ability to go there if they want a slightly smaller town experience. But they're very much out in the countryside here and being able to experience the beautiful Hertfordshire countryside. We were established in 1597, so we have been here a very long time and still on the same site that we originally began. Going to summarize for you very, very briefly the Aldenham model of education. We have three areas that we focus on: the academic, the pastoral, and the co-curricular. And those together lock together to bring about what we see as belonging, very important to us, giving children purpose, giving them autonomy so they have the opportunity to choose and make their own decisions, and making them competent in many areas. And that together locks into driving their motivation and their success. And those then become a spiral. Children who are motivated succeed, and when they've succeeded, they continue to be motivated. So the child is at the center, and that is our model of education. Everything that we do is shaped around those areas, all leading to the child being at the center of what we do. We have vast experience with international students. We are both day and boarding. The majority of the students are day students, although actually 150 of our students will flexi board. So slightly different model that you'll hear from different people. We have full boarders, we have flexi boarders, and we have some day students. But we function as a boarding school. And what that means is we have a long day packed full of everything that you've just heard with the sport, the co-curricular, and the academic on offer. We've got students from all around the world, including Nigeria, quite a lot from West Africa, actually, Nigeria, Ghana. We've got some Tanzanians, we've got all sorts, and we have had for many, many years. When I was running a boarding house, I had a number directly from Nigeria who came in age 13 and stayed with me right the way through until they left and went off to university. Some returning back to Nigeria and some going to British universities. We have international students in terms of people who are overseas boarders who have a nationality from another country, makes up about 8% of our overall student body. But because we are near to North London, we are very, very multicultural. And in fact, we were looking through just before we came on this call, and we've got a number of students who are actually from Nigeria or they're from Ghana, but they have a British passport, even though they perhaps have only ever been to Britain on a visit or to come on board. So it's quite tricky to establish exactly who is from where. And that's one of the beautiful things about Aldenham. It's very multicultural, and this adds to the great mix of everything that's going on. For that reason, we have a strong support system in place for all students, actually, to help everyone settle and integrate, but particularly for our full boarders who are coming over from another country. We want them to feel at home. Pastoral care is something we're known for in the local area. In our area of North London, we are surrounded by very large North London day schools that are known for being very, very pressurized academic schools. We also have good academic results, but we are known instead for our holistic approach and our pastoral care. So the children have dedicated housemaster or housemistress. They also have a personal tutor who they meet with every day, and this becomes their home from home. They are looked after very, very carefully. Some children, of course, English is not their first language. I know that's not usually the case in Nigeria, but we offer additional support in all sorts of ways. And we are a STEER champion school. Now, you may not be aware of that, but STEER education provide a mental well-being, mental health check, which we run as a platform and a program, and all the children take part in this regularly. And it helps us through some fantastic technology and support to pick up concerns early, sometimes even before the children are aware that they are having issues or worries. We are able to pick that up and nip these things in the bud and provide support where it is necessary. We've been running this for a while, and in 2024 we became a STEER champion school because of how well we use the platform and how we work together. We work very hard on our cultural integration. We do have regular different cultural activities that enables everyone to recognize the diversity of our community. That's not just for the boarders, that's for everyone. Yes, done through food, but through other events and activities. People wear their national dress. We do all sorts of things that enable that to happen. We also have a buddy system so that the older students will help the younger students. So if you have somebody arriving at 13, it may be that one of the upper six who is now 17 or 18 will be looking after them and helping them, because they also have been through that process. And it really is a very supportive and tolerant environment. The boarding houses, well, we have 4 senior boarding houses that take children from age 13 to 18. Those are single-sex houses. So pastorally, because boys and girls have different pastoral needs, they are looked after by those people carefully in there, and that's where they live. That's their home. But we also have a junior house, which is for our year 7 and 8 pupils, 11 and 12-year-olds, and that is a mixed house, although they have obviously separate areas within the house. All our houses are modern facilities inside. They've had millions of pounds spent on them, overhauling them and making sure that they're fit for the modern age, although some of them were built actually in the early 19th century. So you get this real sense of tradition passing through the houses, but with modern facilities. And as I mentioned, we also have flexi boarding. So the houses are very, very busy with boarding pupils throughout the week. And a bit like Brent would have said there, at the weekends, though we don't have Saturday school anymore, we have lots of fixtures and other activities take place. So even though the boarding community for international boarders is smaller at the weekend, they quite like that. They're able, like children who just go home for the weekend, this becomes their home. It's a little bit more sort of reflective, lighter experience for them. We pack it full of other activities. We also take them away a lot. They were due to be in Belfast this weekend. We've actually had to cancel that for safety reasons because of the storm knocking out all the power in Belfast and making it difficult for them. But we do lots of travel around, whether to Oxford, to Cambridge, to Edinburgh. And we also have activities on site as well. And fixtures happen as well. And we are a very, very sporty school. I'll come back to that in a moment. Diversity is very important to us, partly because of our location, but actually because we just think it's really important in the modern global world that people understand each other and that they learn to be tolerant. We have children from many, many countries as boarders, including Nigeria, Germany, Spain, Ghana, China, Ukraine, but also just locally as day pupils. Many have come over on their own visas. They're living as a dependent with their parents, but they come to us as a day pupil or a flexi boarder, but they also are international and are coming into the UK to study, whilst perhaps their parents have got a local job for a short period of time. So we're a hugely mixed and diverse community. And the beautiful thing is that you wouldn't know who was a boarder, who was a day pupil, who was from Britain, who wasn't, in the sense that there's this wonderful cultural melting pot. And the emphasis at Aldenham, because of this sense of belonging, which is core in our model of education, is this idea of respect and inclusion. We have regular talks and events on this. We actually have a thing called iWeek, which focuses on identity, and everybody is able to feed into that and to learn about each other and learn about themselves too. Co-curricular provision, like many of the schools here, is vast at Aldenham. Everything from music, drama, art, many, many clubs. We've got around 80 activities that are on offer every week, plus at the weekends. And the children can find their own kind of niche, find their own areas, doing things they've never done before and discovering a passion, discovering they're very, very good at something. So everything from excellence in music. We have many people who leave us to go on to music conservatoires or become professional musicians. Many people work and leave us either to go and star on television or on the West End stage as professional actors. It's a hugely wonderful co-curricular provision, and a huge section of that for us is our sports provision. We are known for our sport, and I know you've heard it here already, but we genuinely are known for our football. You can look us up. We were one of the first 2 schools ever to write down the codes of football. We don't do rugby because that was a new sport that was invented after football. We are extremely focused on our football. We have success at all levels. And in fact, I just picked here over the last 7-year period, which is one school cycle. If you imagine somebody arriving at 11 and going through to the end of 18, over the last 7-year cycle, we've produced 11 children who have left us to go and play professional Premiership football. So that's more than one a year during that time. And we have plenty of people now playing in professional academies and moving on. We are very successful at all levels in the ISFA and the ESFA, and we are known as a powerhouse of football. People come to us specifically for our football program. However, I am very passionate about cricket. We also play netball. We've got fives, a very traditional sport, tennis. We do very well in golf and athletics because we believe in a holistic program. So although football is a huge thing for us, and if people like football, they choose us for that, we also think it's important that people take part in other things and become well-rounded individuals. We do have specialist programs for the elite sports people or elite musicians because they have additional pressures where they have to further this that is quite clearly going to be their career. And how to balance that with their academic program is something that we are very, very careful with, and we monitor those children and support them in every way. Academics, obviously it's a school. We provide our academic programs. We focus on A-levels and GCSEs. Around 80% of our students earn the right to attend Russell Group universities. I very carefully put it that way. They don't all choose to go to Russell Group universities because some of them will go instead to a drama college or a drama school. Some will go to a music conservatoire. Some will choose instead to go off to professional sport. And as I said, we have many who do that. So they may well have done well enough in their A-levels to go to a Russell Group university or to Oxbridge, but they choose not to do so. So that's why we put around 80% earn that right. But we value just as much who choose to do things that are not in the academic sphere as those who do in the academic sphere. But we do have this focus. We value hard work, high expectations, definitely we have, and we want people to do well. And I know that certainly Nigerians want their children to focus hard on their academics. We're also a very modern school. So despite being around since 1597, we were one of the earliest kind of schools to move into computing and to teaching computing back in the 1960s. And now we are a Microsoft Showcase school. That's quite a hard thing to win as a title, but Microsoft value us as demonstrating innovative use of technology, particularly their platforms. And we give guidance and training to other schools in how best to use these platforms. So they're very much prepared for the next stage when they leave us into university and beyond in the world of work. So I've been rattling through this for you because I know you'll have some questions. But as a conclusion for you, why should you choose us? Well, there's a few things I didn't mention. You can see, obviously, we have our rich history. We are originally founded as a Christian school, a Church of England school. We do have that in our background. We have chapel, which the children go to every week. But we also accept children of all faiths and none. We do have a full-time Anglican chaplain here at Church of England chaplain as part of our pastoral care team. So that's part of what we do. I've pick up what some of the others have said. We do not have exeat weekends. So if there is an exeat, that simply means that there are no sports fixtures, and that gives us the opportunity to take our international boarders on a further afield trip. So they might be able to go up to Edinburgh or something, and we'll fly them up there as part of the fees so that they are able to experience something new. Pastoral care, massively important for us, and the sense of belonging runs through so that everybody here really values Aldenham and wants to come back and share that opportunity with others. So the last thing I'm going to show you is one testimonial. I could have picked many, but I've picked one because we were talking to Jason earlier this week. Jason is from Nigeria, and he said, "Oh, can you let me give a testimonial. I'll tell you what Nigerians want to hear." So you can be the judge of this as to whether this is what Nigerians want to hear. But Jason said, now he, by the way, is studying economics and politics and geography at A-level. But what he values most about Aldenham, he says, is its sport. So he represents us both in football and in basketball. He's very much at home. He enjoys all the opportunities he has to play sport. And this is what he wanted to tell you, that this is what he values about being here. But as I said, I could have picked many people, but we've settled here on Jason because he was so keen to tell you this. So that's Aldenham for you. As I said, I don't envy you the challenge of picking between what ultimately are a bunch of fantastic schools here. But if you are interested in finding out anything more about us, then please do contact Liz. You can reach her on admissions@aldenham.com. She would be the person who would be taking you through the process, working with brains and butter to make sure that you choose the right school. And that for us is vital. We want to make sure that we are right for your children. And if between us we all agree that we're not the right school, then that is also fine. But we want to make sure that your children are successful and happy and confident and well-rounded young people. So I'll hand it now over to you for questions, which we're happy to take. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that presentation. And it's nice to know that he was placed by Brains and Butter. Okay, so we have a question here. And it says, how does the school provide financial assistance to families in terms of bursary?
In terms of bursaries. So for a bursary, we like I'm sure many of the schools here, we do a means tested bursary. So if there is somebody who has financial need but still wants to come to the school, and then we would assess that need just to make sure that we that people do actually need that support. and then we would be able to offer some sort of bursary. There is a limited pot available, and we have to be very careful how much and where we apportion that. We try to help as many children as we can. We separate that from a scholarship program, which you'll hear from other colleagues here as well. Scholarship is generally down to exceptional ability in a particular area. But also we do recognise at the moment, particularly, especially with the imposition of VAT on school fees, that things have become more challenging for people. And we are open, if you think Aldenham is the right school for you, then please do contact Liz. We are open to have discussions with families to see whether we are able to work on some kind of discount for you if that would benefit you. Because we want ultimately to have the right children in the school. It benefits us, it benefits you. So we are open to have those sorts of discussions, but obviously they're so individual, those would need to be one-to-one conversations.
Okay, so we have another question. Can you please, a parent says, can you please share some of your leavers destinations for your sixth form students?
Sure. So leavers destinations last year, off the top of my head, the two most popular last year were Liverpool University and Loughborough University. A number went to Loughborough for sport. Loughborough is a curious place because it's not Russell Group, but it is world renowned for its sport. So there's a prime example of children who could have gone to Russell Group University, but that chose to go to there instead. Quite a number went into the various London universities, but some went to UCL. Around a third of our students go off to study STEM subjects. So they will pick places like UCL and King's. So yeah, a huge variety. But what we do, and we may be different from some others, but this is genuinely what we do. We want the right institution for the child. So there are people here who will have straight A's or straight A stars at A level and could have got to Oxford or Cambridge who didn't even apply because what they wanted to do instead was to go to BIM, which is a music specialist college in Brighton. So, you know, these are the sorts of things that we do, but we have a huge variety. But last year, definitely Loughborough and Liverpool were the two most popular places that we had, and then I think third after that was one of the London universities. I think might have been UCL actually. That gives you an example.
Thank you for these answers. Okay, so it might interest you to know that Brains and Butter has actually placed 2 children in your school. So I'd like to ask, what would you say, have you noticed anything? Would you say that there's actually anything that makes Nigerian students stand out?
Yeah, I can say that, and especially having been a housemaster with the Nigerian students. The Nigerian students, for me, integrate very well. They like where we are because it's quite multicultural. So they're getting a very traditional British education, but they don't feel like they stand out as the only one who comes from Nigeria or comes from another country. Because even amongst our day pupils, we have a range of people from other cultures as well, who might just be in that North London area or one of the local counties surrounding. So where Aldenham is placed in Hertfordshire, we take children from surrounding Hertfordshire, but also North London, also Berkshire as well. So we have a whole range of students, some very traditional British, some multicultural. So the Nigerian students, they stand out in the sense that they really choose to integrate, whereas some children from other countries do not. They find it much harder to integrate. So that's one thing that I would say that makes them stand out. On the other hand, they don't stand out at all. They slot in very, very easily amongst our mix of students. And also Aldenham is very, very careful with the fact that the day students, the flexi boarders and the boarding students, between 8:30 and 5:30, which is our standard school day, no one would know the difference between any of them. They're all very proud of the house that they're in, whether they're a day student or a boarder. They're all very, very kind of proud of each other. They're very nurturing, very supportive of each other. There's no segregation between, oh, you're a boarder, you're international, you're day. They're all just one happy, cohesive family. Because of our model of education, that's what works. It all changes at 5:30 when the day pupils go home. You've then got about 150 flexi boarders who will stay into the evening, so you just have a vibrant boarding community. And you can't really tell the difference again between whether somebody was overseas international or whether they're a local flexi boarder. It really doesn't matter. Also, people like the Nigerians and others might be going home with a day student. So they integrate in that way as well, because there's that location. People can go home. They can spend the weekend with someone. So a lot of their closest friends might actually well be day students or flexi boarders from the local area. The other thing I'd say about the Nigerians is they value hard work. They like our discipline. We're a very calm, quiet school of hardworking children. They like the fact that there's a mix where some people love their sport, some people love their music, but they're hardworking. I can certainly say that I valued that from the children that were Nigerian when I was running the house.
That's quite interesting. Okay, so we have one more question for you.
Sure.
How does your school specifically support international students in adapting to their academic, cultural, and social environment?
That's a great question, and probably, I'll be honest, very similarly to all my colleagues from other schools. But we have a program where what happens is when they arrive, they have a very careful induction program. So that extra care is placed during the first 2 to 3 weeks to make sure that they are settling in. And this is like anybody whose children have gone, for a sleepover out of friends for the first ever time. There's lots of checking in and making sure that they're okay because they might be feeling a bit homesick. Well, here you've gone to the next level because you're in a different country. So we enable people to speak and contact back home, but that gradually begins to decrease. But don't worry, parents, we keep you informed as well, so that you're able to know that they're still okay. They have, as I said, a housemaster who effectively becomes or is their parent whilst they're here. There's lots of sort of conversations between you and them. Also a guardian, and I know that Brains and Butter also offers that guardianship, so I'd recommend people consider that very, very carefully as well. They have a personal tutor. So in each of our boarding houses, there are 2 resident tutors as well as the housemaster and their family, and it becomes genuinely a home from home. So if they've got a problem, it doesn't matter what it is, the middle of the night, if they're feeling a bit homesick, people will come and bang on the door. And I can tell you that as a housemaster, I would open the door, we would sit down. My wife is very good at this. Sometimes she would sit down, just have a chat with them. How do we make them feel at home exactly as you would expect? So they'll get a birthday cake on their birthday. Everyone will sing happy birthday to them. All these sorts of things are done to make people feel at home. And we're very conscious of those occasions when they might be feeling particularly homesick. So we would then step in advance and make sure that they're feeling supported in those areas.
Amazing presentation there. Thank you so much for your presentation, and thank you for your time as well. Thank you for being here.